It's only game one. It's only game one. It's okay. Welcome to Locked On Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome every day, and thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. I'm Kyle Carr. I'm a lifelong Anaheim Ducks fan. I've spent multiple years covering collegiate sports, including college hockey, but here on Locked On Ducks, we are always talking about the Anaheim Ducks and everything about that team. And the Ducks finally had their first official regular season game. It is in the books. The 25-26 season is underway for the Anaheim Ducks, and we're going to get into whether or not it's time to panic. Should we throw in the towel already after one game? We'll get into that. Going to talk about who the best line of the game was and who stood out and everything like that. But we got to get to the first thing first, and the most important thing, pretty much a thing of firsts here. The first goal of the Anaheim Ducks season, the first goal of Beckett Sennecke's career. It was the first goal of the game for the Anaheim Ducks, and it came in the first period as well, and it was his first shot on goal of the night. So a lot of firsts, but yes, Beckett Sennecke finally gets his appearance in the big leagues, and he gets his first goal. Always a great start, especially when you have your family in attendance, which he did. Looked like he had mom and dad and sister in the crowd of the game up in Seattle. So it's cool that they got him out there from, I believe, from Canada is where he's from. I am not exactly 100% sure where they flew them from, but they were there in the crowd, and they got to witness the experience of their son playing in his first NHL game, and to have that moment with everyone in there. And it was a really awesome, just kind of scrummy goal that he got a beautiful serve up from McTavish that was on a saucer, but he just put his his stick down exactly where he needed to get it and ended up scoring right away. So from Toronto, that's where he's from. I thought he was there. Obviously, if he was playing in the OHL, I had a moment there. I was just trying to get my brain back. But yeah, so to have your family in the rink and to be parents, having my own son who plays and just thinking about what that experience could be like, they got to have it. They got to be there for his first game. He gets his first goal in the first game, the first period of the game as well. And I don't know if his sister like knew what was up because she's like three. Like I think she was trying to say he's going to get 3 in the game, but it ended up being 3-1 Seattle over the Ducks. So I don't know if she knew something that we didn't, but he did get his first. So it's really cool to see. But that's kind of the highlight of the game. I'm trying to keep as positive as long as possible here, but the game was not a positive outcome in the fact that they did lose 3-1. Beckett Sennecke, the only goal scorer for Anaheim. Mason McTavish gets the assist. So only 2 players come away with points out of that game. I was expecting a little bit more. The Ducks did have a very good first period. It looked great right off to a hot start. Definitely not like the Ducks of old that we have seen with the previous coaching staff, definitely not the same Anaheim Ducks that started that game on Thursday night. Unfortunately, I was in class during the start of this game, and I don't know if it's just the punishment I get, but when I try to have the game on when I'm supposed to be paying attention to class, I hope my professor doesn't listen to this, but I did take notes, but I was trying to watch the game with my side eye and then I got to come back and rewatch it. But every time the Ducks play when I'm in class, they somehow lose. It's like that extra added stress that I know I'm kind of breaking the rules, and then all of a sudden they lose the game. But obviously, I don't have that level of control over the team. I'm just psychotic and think that I do. But with the game, I thought there's some positives, which we'll get into later. And there was a line that stuck out, but some unfortunate defense for tonight. The Ducks were it was really interesting because it was a very fast-paced game. Seattle did a decent job. I thought they were looking really good compared to the Ducks. Not like it was that the Ducks were really bad. It was just they were out the Kraken were out skating the Ducks in certain situations. They just kind of had more jump in their step, and whenever they got the Ducks hemmed in towards the end of the game, it just seemed like the Ducks didn't really falter, but they just weren't doing anything extra or kind of bringing the momentum back their way. Um, the couple of goals that gave the Kraken the lead. They did score the first goal, and then Beckett scored to tie it. And the two goals that resulted after the Sennecke goal, one came from Troy Terry trying to work the puck around, and he just gets bodied off the puck at the blue line by Brandon Montour, who just gets that first step ahead of him. And Terry tries to come and cut him off again, but again gets kind of out muscled, and Montour gets low and just serves it to Marchment as Trouba's coming back, but no one else had back checked because of Terry going down. I just don't know if there was miscommunication on who was supposed to go and pick up Marchment, but the breakdown there and back checking was kind of a theme that seemed to take fold a lot this game. It almost looked like the Seattle Kraken were kind of cherry picking at how quickly they would get that puck up and out, and then we're on either a breakaway or a 2-on-1. They were just right behind the D. It was almost like the Ducks D got a little too offensively focused and sucked in that Seattle could just sneak a forward right up to that high blue line. And as soon as they got stick on puck, they were sending that guy down, and the Ducks would be kind of get stuck having to back check extra hard, a little flat footed on that blue line. So a little unfortunate there. The second goal or the third goal. So is the second goal after the Sennecke goal. Kjær, he gets bodied off the puck by a Seattle Kraken player, and Kraken quickly turn it around. And unfortunately, they get numbers. They don't even have numbers down low. I have a screenshot here if I can get it for you. But they literally were. There was 4 Ducks players on screen, and the one Seattle Kraken down low after Eberle threw it into the cross corner. It goes down the cross corner. A Seattle Kraken player forechecks up into that corner, and a Duck goes to go cover him. There's 3 other Ducks in that frame and just one Seattle Kraken player. No one is in between that lane of where the Kraken player is. No one goes to try to tie up his stick. No one is even near the guy, but it's just a direct line from him to the puck in the corner, and he just has an easy shot right on Dostal, completely left open. So 2 goals scored by not good back checking, miscommunication on the defense, a little bit of a breakdown. Going from that transition of the man-on-man defense to the zone defense, I think with the preseason having so many games and so many of them being against the same couple of teams, I think sort of not really lured them into a false sense, but in a way, the Ducks just kind of had this false sense of where they were at and what that zone defense would look like and how they would pick up. And I think now kind of having to adjust to new different systems, that zone defense is just still getting worked out. There's still kinks there, but that should have been a communication where the players picked that up and someone had to have been there. You got to pick that guy up. Unfortunately, we had Minchikov and Hellison were -2. That pairing just is looking a little tough right now. Zellweger and Trouba -1. Gudis and Lacombe were the only defensive pair that were +1 because they were out there for Sennecke's goal. So little some issues there, but we'll get into who I think was the best line after this, and then we'll get into just the positives and kind of where the Ducks are going to go and whether or not it's time to panic or was it just a one-off. So we'll get into that. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get 300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. With FanDuel, you can get engaged with the weekend. Now we've got some college football, we've got the NFL, we've got the basketball started, we've got the playoffs for baseball, and the NHL regular season finally underway. So there's so much to do with FanDuel. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. So coming back now, we were just talking about a little bit of the defensive issues that happen in this game. Some unfortunate read breakdowns and guys not getting covered, and some forwards just kind of left in space looking a little lost. But there was a lot of stuff for this team to work off of. I don't think that there's really anything to write off. I think they looked overall much, much better than they have in the last year or two, mostly two. But there was a difference in the tone. I don't think they ever gave up. I didn't see any kind of quit. And there was one team that just was the definition of that this entire game. I felt like they showed up every shift. And most of the times when the Ducks were in the offensive zone and getting a lot of ozone pressure was when this line was out there. And that was the Gauthier, McTavish, and Sennecke line. I believe they were the best line last night. I felt they worked really, really hard. They had a lot of good chances. They were looking very noticeably aggressive out there. I thought that they had really quick pace, good pressure with the puck in when they did have the puck in possession. They were just always hemming it around, keeping guys moving. I thought they were making good passing plays, trying to get shots through and just kind of bodying their way through those lanes. Some good hits, pinning guys up against the boards, not really afraid to step away from the battles. And like I said, every time that they were out on the ice, or even when it was like, okay, I'm not really paying attention to who's on the ice, I'm just looking in my peripheral, and then I would like glance, and oh, sure enough, it was the Sennecke, McTavish, and Gauthier line. They were out there. Every time the Ducks were in the offensive zone, it felt like that was their line driving it. Even when they started with the puck down low, they ended up getting it back. Unfortunately, McTavish was getting tossed a little bit. There's so many things. Like, I will watch a face-off and I swear no one will move. There'll be nothing. And obviously you can't hear what the ref's saying because they're probably saying, hey, get your foot back or put your stick here or whatever. But all of a sudden they'll just toss them. And no one moved, no one twitched, no one did anything, but somehow they get tossed. So it always confuses me when guys are getting tossed. If there's just, they have a tendency to know that they're trying to cheat the face off. but it felt like McTavish was getting tossed quite a bit this game. But even then, they ended up being a very dominant and extravagant line. I thought they stood out of all the other lines. Not saying that the other lines did bad or anything like that. They had the best numbers statistically. They looked more offensively sound than the other guys. And I think McTavish was just out there bodying guys and not afraid to stick up for Sennecke if he was getting caught in something. There was just a good mix of like those salty kind of young guys that Gauthier and McTavish are, where Gauthier now has a full season under him. He's super talented and has just a crazy shot, is able to body through guys, really fast back check. Then you got McTavish, who's just this UFC looking guy, even though he's got UFC in his family, but he looks like he's ready to just throw down and could just toss anybody. And then you got Beckett Sennecke, this kind of lanky, tall guy. He's getting some strength. He's definitely getting better at holding his own, and he's got crazy little hands, and he just seems to be in the right place as well. And getting the first goal for the Anaheim Ducks season and to get his first in his career in that game last night, it was all from him just being in the right place at the right time. That's something I talked about when I was looking at the end of last year with his time in with the Ottawa or the Erie. Oh my gosh. Having a blank right now. The Oshawa Generals. I was thinking of McTavish in Ottawa, and then somehow Erie Otters came in there. But with the Oshawa Generals and his playoffs and how he was playing, I thought that he's going to be able to get some good goals because he just seems to know where to go. He's very positionally sound. He's got that hockey IQ, and that's exactly how he scores his first goal. McTavish just fighting dudes off, gets the puck back, one-hands it down low, and it just pops up off McTavish or off of Sennecke's stick and pops right in. Beautiful, beautiful goal. And they were doing that all night. They were getting a lot of shots and pressure on Decord last night. A lot of that offense was generated by this line. Gauthier had 5 shots on goal, leading the team. And then Sennecke had 3 shots and McTavish had 2. So 10 shots combined for that line. Ducks had 17 shots in the first. Seattle had 5. And then in the second, Anaheim had 12. Seattle had 11. And in the third, Anaheim had 7. Seattle had 15. So you can just kind of see how the ice started to tilt there towards that halfway mark. The Ducks came out really hot. They looked good. That first period was extremely dominant. I think everyone thought, all right, the Ducks are about to take off. It's going to be a high scoring night. We've seen this in the preseason. They're cooking now. Like, things are coming. They're getting the shots. They were moving the puck around the zone. When they did get them hemmed in, I felt like they were doing good at moving the puck quickly, not too much on the perimeter. Like, they were getting shots that were either getting blocked or they were getting shots through. I mean, 34 shots or something that they had in total? Not a bad look at all. So there was good offensive opportunities. It just wasn't coming together for them. And these guys were trying. McTavish, Gauthier, and Sennecke were really, really trying all night long. They were putting the body out there. Like, everything that you could ask out of this line came together. And for Sennecke to be thrown into second line minutes, I thought was extremely well handled for him. Like, he did a good job. He didn't seem completely out of place. He didn't do anything crazy bad as a rookie. I don't even think he was out there for any of the goals against. And unfortunately, it was kind of the veteran guys or the guys that were looking to have some more positive input or output, either whichever way you look at it. You think that they would have been a little bit better off in that first game. Ends up the rookie comes in, shows up big. You got Lacombe looking good, of course, with his big new contract, and McTavish with his contract ready to do business. So a lot of good things there, but unfortunate mistakes and things that led to the Ducks losing, and we got lucky with having that second line kind of step up with Strome out. I think the team looked good with that stack. It was a good stack and just an unfortunate event. And we'll get into why I think there was a lot of positives and just what the team can build up off of after last night's game and going into Saturday against San Jose, and then of course coming home on Tuesday. So lots of things to build on, and we'll get into all that right after this. So we're back now. Just talked about how the McTavish line with Gauthier and Sennecke was the best line of the night. Definitely looked really, really good out there and got the only scoring for Anaheim last night. But overall, with the team, yes, there was only one goal. They didn't get a lot of points last night. They come away with a loss. But overall, I think it was a good first impression. It was a good jump into the fire with it. I think you're going to see the Ducks and the Kraken kind of have this unwritten battle, unwritten rivalry this year with this chase. And these are two teams that are kind of ready to get out of the funk and really fight for a playoff spot. And both teams looked really, really good. The Kraken, they're a good team. I have to take my hat and tilt it off to them. I thought they looked a lot better than they have, a lot faster than they have. They weren't playing boring hockey at all. They were up engaged in the rush. They had some really nifty plays. Lukasz Dostal definitely had to earn his paycheck last night. He's another guy that's coming in with a fresh paycheck as well. And yeah, he definitely had his work cut out for him. Even though the Kraken had lower shots towards the first half of the game, the shots that were getting through by Seattle were definitely high danger. Like, I was wincing and getting a little anxious and excitable with some of those shots that were coming through by the Kraken. So it was a lot of quality coming out of Seattle. And then coming and looking at Anaheim's performance, I think they also had a lot of positive things to look at. I think they were getting good shots through. They had the higher shots in the beginning. You can see, like I said in the previous segment, the ice did start to tilt with the Ducks having a massive lead in shots on goal in the first, and then just above in that second, and then they fell behind in the third as the Kraken just kind of started to take that energy. And once they had the 2-goal lead, the Kraken shut the Ducks down. They were playing really good shutdown defense and not really letting the Ducks get anything settled and really get good quality shots on Decord. But there was also a moment, that's another thing I really want to highlight. There was a chance where Zellweger got a puck past Decord, and the Ducks celebrate. They think they scored. I was super pumped. It looked like they were going to take the lead. The game was 1-1 at the time. It looks like the Ducks are about to take a 2-1 lead, but Decord protests, and they review it, and they determined that Zellweger pushed Decord's pad, and so that's why the puck went in. It was such a quick little jab, like he was just going for the puck. I think it was kind of a coincidental thing. I don't want to play the woe is me, the refs are out to get us. It just, from the look that I saw, it looked like it was fairly just, it coincidentally went in the crack and his skate came off, but they determined that he pushed it off, and that's why it went in. Doesn't count. So then the Kraken kind of just took that energy from that no goal and then got their first second goal and took the lead eventually, and then they ended up getting that third goal as well. So I think that kind of changed the energy a little bit for the team. But those are things that the Ducks are going to have to get used to, just kind of sucking it up, dealing with it, and go get the next one. Go get the next one. Just come back. It doesn't matter. Shake it off and go get another one. A lot of good defensive rushes I saw from the team. They had some moments where the guys cycled really well. I felt like the forwards had that third guy high covering when they were in the offensive zone, and they worked it well in the middle. They were trying to create some traffic, and it just was one of those nights where it seemed like every shot was right in the numbers or pretty easy for him to see. Even the clogged lanes, he just Joey Decord somehow got his pad on it, somehow got a glove on it. It just wasn't a puck luck type night for Anaheim. And they had good speed. There was good forechecking coming from the boys. I thought Leo Carlsson looked really good. Unfortunately, he was -2. And if you look at the stat line, he was definitely, it looked like by the numbers, was the worst forward out there. But by the eye tests and really watching the game, I felt like he did extremely well out there. He was looking good. He got some beautiful plays through. He's getting some shots. I don't know if Terry and Carlson are really working together. I even question that even in the preseason. I think a lot of people are kind of raising their eyebrows with that. But Gauthier, McTavish, and now Sennecke, they seem to be getting some chemistry. It's so hard because Gauthier has really good chemistry with McTavish, but he also has really good chemistry with Leo Carlsson. I think he complements whoever he goes with. Gauthier's like pumping him up, getting him going. I would like to see Carlson and Gauthier get some time together and just to see how that works, see how Terry works with McTavish. Maybe even put him down on the third line and bring Granlund up. I feel like Terry he wasn't bad out there and he didn't look terrible. There was a lot of people kind of hating on him. He did get bodied off, and that's how that second goal happened. But overall, I thought he was playing a decent game. A little quiet, but he was trying to make his chances. He was trying to get things through. I felt like he forechecked extremely well, played at a high pace. Just there wasn't a connection going on. And I think that's where there's just something missing between him and Carlson, where they're just not getting that extra little ingredient to get the puck in. When you see Carlson with Gauthier, there's just that little extra oomph that it's not. They're all great. They play well. They're all good players. There's just something like not clicking at the same pace when it's Leo and Gauthier versus when it's Leo and Terry. So we'll see how that goes. Also, kind of Chris Kreider was there. He had some veteran moments where he was causing some havoc and was trying to get some redirects in there and looked pretty decent when the Ducks did get a power play. But overall, I think he was just kind of irrelevant, and we'll see how it goes once he pops up. I saw some New York fans kind of laying some hate, saying, "Oh yeah, this is why we call him this or we call him that," or just kind of laying some shame at them. And when you have a large roster of guys that are from the New York Rangers and none of them really do anything in the game, you kind of get peppered. So Ryan Strome is out still with his injury, and I like the way that it opened up this roster. I'm excited to see how things go against San Jose. We saw how spicy it was getting during the preseason, so already seeing the Sharks again. This will be up at the SAP Center, so still on the road for these guys. And then to see them at home against Pittsburgh, Sidney Crosby. We've seen what the Penguins have been doing. If you haven't, the Penguins have been on this little tear right now. They're looking extremely good. They look at like the guys are connecting. You're getting scoring from the veterans, and you're getting scoring from these new guys for the Penguins. So it's going to be an exciting game. I think a little clash of similar groups of, the Penguins are kind of on the decline and the Ducks are on the incline, but you have this group of young guys and veterans. So it's going to be kind of a one-for-one battle with the Penguins at the Ducks home opener. So looking forward to that. Other than that, excited for the weekend. We'll be back on Monday to really talk about what goes down on the weekend and just getting really excited for that home opener. And I'm just thrilled to have hockey back. I'm a little bummed. If you can tell by my tone, I'm competitive, and even though I just cover them and I'm just a fan, I still just kind of feel that, like, man, wish we could have had that. I was expecting a little bit more, but can't jump down their throats. It's not time to panic. There is no panic necessary. It was just game one, and I'm telling myself that. I'm not, it's just game one. Maybe you're having the same issue I am, where you're trying not to stress and you just have to keep reminding yourself it's only one game. It's okay. There's a lot of things to build off of. I think Quenneville's going to take a jump and really fix the discrepancies. They're going to be already looking at it. They're probably already talking about it today. They're going to be talking about it tomorrow morning in San Jose before the game and their morning practice. Things are going to be getting okay. It's all right. We can breathe. We have a very qualified coach at the helm. It's not Cronin anymore. We've got this. And thank you for making Locked On Anaheim Ducks your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On NHL Game Night. Every game, every night, until a Stanley Cup champion is crowned. Get local analysis on a national scale. Find NHL Game Night on Locked On NHL on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Go like and subscribe to this YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. Locked On Ducks is your jam. And as always, I'm Kyle Carr. Be good out there.